Oats, mashed potato. Thank goodness for the resilience of people and the understanding of ingredients. Both these pies are fantastic. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today we are doing a World War II classic. It's a forgotten type of pastry. We're doing both versions of pastry which were encouraged due to strict rationing in World War II. This is an English pie. And we're going to split it somehow. We're going to put two halves of pastry on the pie because the ingredients inside are actually the same, and it's vegetables. It's a vegetarian recipe, but don't be put off by this. This is a fantastic, resilient, it's a testament to the resilience of the people during World War II when rationing was very strict. Now this was created, like I say, in World War II. It's called the Wooton Pie. It's a forgotten pie with forgotten pastries. There's only one or two people that make the pastry this way now, and probably the older end on this channel will remember their mothers or grandmothers making pastry like this. It's not a conventional way, like I say. Now it was created during World War II because of the strict rationing. It's called a Woolton pie because it's named after the first Lord of Woolton, Frederick Marquis or Marquis. Okay, so that's the history of it. It came around and it was named after the first Lord of Woolton. That's why it's known as the Woolton pie. This is a classic World War II pie made with two different pastries. Now we're going to make the pastries first before we do the veg. We're going to chop up and cook the veg, and it has to go cold before it goes in the pastry. So really we should do it the other way around, but I want the pastry to rest. It's not going to rest in the fridge or anything. Okay, we're going to let it rest on the side. Pastry then, two types of pastry, one with mashed potatoes. Now back in the day during the World War II rationing, flour was one of the highly rationed commodities. So mashed potato was introduced with a little bit of flour to make a pastry. So in this bowl I have mashed potato, flour and butter. Now you can use margarine or anything like that, don't worry about it. In this one I have oatmeal, I've got butter, shortening and flour. I'm going to add a pinch of salt to both in a minute, mix them up with some cold water. No eggs, no nothing. Now to make the oatmeal flour I've taken some quick oats and I've ground them up. Okay, so that's oatmeal. There you go, that's the two types of pastry, oatmeal, mashed potato. All we've got to do now is make it. So let's do the mashed potato first. I'm just going to go in there with a little bit of salt. I might as well put the salt in this one as well so you can see. Ding. So we need our butter in there with that flour. In fact, I'll just do that a little bit first and then we'll incorporate the mashed potato. So just nice and steady, and this is all at room temperature because there wouldn't have been fridges as such if it was heavy rationing. You know, they'd have been making this just in the houses as is. So none of this is refrigerated. So we want that little bit of a breadcrumby type consistency there. It's going to be a bit buttery at the moment until we add that mashed potato. Okay, now I've got mashed potato. I'm going to incorporate that in nice and gently into the flour mixture. Now obviously the mashed potato isn't going to crumble up as much into there. It's going to take some working to get it in. That is going to be like our stickiness in our pastry. Okay, let's get that other bit in there and let's just bring it all in together. There's nothing as such binding this together apart from that rationed amount of butter. And it actually smells just like mashed potatoes. Okay, there's our mashed potato pastry there. Now the pastry always calls for water, but if we add water to that, I think it's going to be too wet. So we're not going to add water. If you've got a dry mix at home, add a bit of water. It depends on how much water is in your potatoes. Okay, one done. Next one. In this one, we got the butter, shortening, flour, oatmeal. Let's start mixing it together. This will be a bit more like a normal pastry. It's all very much dry, and we will probably have to use water in this one. So nice and steady all the way through there. Mix it up like we would any normal pastry. Now whilst I'm doing this, I'm just thinking about the amount of people that must have made this during World War II. Phenomenal. Absolutely incredible. The resilience of people, not just in the UK, all around the world. It's a credit to them. You know, they fed a nation in this country, obviously, but all around the world we're rationing. Unbelievable. To me, that is real cooking, not straight out of a freezer into a microwave. Love it. Now what I will say, if any of you people out there actually make this type of pastry or have had it, leave a comment, tell me what you thought of it. You know, it is a forgotten way of making pastry these days. You don't hear much of this type of pastry. Now this one's going to have a little bit of water in. I'm not going to do too crazy because I've no idea how it's all going to come together. So we've got a little bit of water in there. Okay, let's have a feel, see what it's like. You can do with a little bit more. Not much, just a little bit more in there. If not, the crust is going to be too dry. So we're only going to splash a little bit in, not much. Now I would imagine that the secret to this type of pastry is not to overwork it. Just bring it together nice and steady. Okay, so all we're doing is bringing that together in there. Now this feels like a hard, crumbly pastry. Really hard. It's different, it's because it's got the oats in there. But not to worry, that will be absolutely fine. So we're just going to rest that. Now I am going to put cling film over both actually, just so that they rest in a nice environment rather than on the side where they're going to dry. But I can see this being a lot crumblier. I've got a selection of veg here. I've got turnip, onion, parsnip, carrot, celery, leek, potatoes. I've got some mushrooms. And what we're going to do is I'm going to peel them all, chop them all, and put them into different bowls, and then I'll carry on with the recipe. There's no point me showing you how to peel a parsnip or a carrot or anything like that. That's up to you. Okay, so all we're going to do is we're going to peel the parsnips like that. We're going to peel the carrots like that. We're going to peel the potatoes, chop the mushrooms, everything. So I'll carry on and I'll show you exactly what the ingredients look like when we've prepped them. Okay, leek and onions. Leek straight in that pan. Onion. Straight in that pan. Okay, the rest of our veg then. I've got a little bit of celery, straight through. Parsnips. In a bowl. Now, you do not have to eat the core of a parsnip, but it is edible. Carrot. This is our turnip. And we got some potato. Mushrooms have been washed and wiped. Now you can go in with thick slices or you can go in with chunks. Flame on. Butter in. Now don't be shy. Little pinch of salt, just to help with those onions and leeks break down in there. Now just give it a little quick stir fry. We want to saute the onions and the leeks for a little bit of flavour. Choice of pepper, black pepper or white pepper. It depends what they had at the time. I'm going to go with white pepper. I would imagine that it would probably be white pepper, but I could be completely wrong and they might have used black pepper. So let's give that a little stir in there. Now they would have used fresh herbs, fresh thyme, fresh parsley, anything like that. I'm going in there with a good pinch of dried thyme. I don't have fresh thyme. So just a little sauteing in there, you know. We're not trying to brown it as such, we're just trying to take it down a little bit. I'm going in there with the potatoes. I'm going in there with all the rest of the root vegetables. In there with the mushrooms. And that is a whole pan of goodness right there. In with a little bit of veg stock. Now, I'm not going to go too much with veg stock at the moment because I want to see how much water is actually drawn out of this veg. Okay, I'm going to add the rest of that in there. 300 mils of fluid, and that will be more than enough to release all that fluid and moisture in all those vegetables in there. And it probably might be too wet. We'll have to see. Lid on, and we are going to cook that for about 10 minutes, occasionally taking the lid off. Give it a stir. That's it. Okay, what we're going to do is get the lid off and let it take some of that moisture out of that pan. That veg is all but cooked. It's just starting to take a fork into the potatoes. So we'll just cook some of that off a little bit. We don't want to cook it all off because there'll be no fluid left in the pie. If you wanted to have a nice thick sauce inside there, you could put a cornflour slurry together, put it in there and thicken it up. And then you would have a thick sauce inside there from the veg stock and the vegetables. Now I'm not sure they would have done that back in the day, but I think we might do it. Just to have a nice little thick coating inside there. Okay, so in here I've got less than half a tablespoon of corn flour and water. I'm just going to put that in there. I'm just going to help that to come up to a little thick slurry inside there to stick to all that veg. There you go, job done. So we want the flame off, and we're going to put that in something and roll our pastry out. So we're just going to let that cool. Okay, we've got the two types of pastry to put out here. Now you find most recipes people cheat a little bit and they put a mashed potato top on. They don't go to the bother of making a pastry with mashed potato like we have. We're going to roll our pastry to fit that tin, because don't forget we've got two lots of pastry. Now I have no idea how this is going to turn out, so we want some flour on there a little bit. Our mashed potato pastry is very soft indeed, probably because of the fluid content in the potatoes. So this one, let's put that tray there, that's fine. This one we're going to roll, and I'm going to keep these quite thick actually. We want a thick layer of pastry on here, I think, for something like this. Okay, now what I am going to do, I'm going to put all that veg in there. Okay, so you can see we've got all that veg in there, and then what we're going to do is try and get this very delicate pastry on our veg. And it is delicate, so we'll have to be careful. I am going to overlap it, it doesn't matter about a crust. Okay, we've got that on there, and then we're going to roll the other one and probably tidy it up a little bit. Now the one with the oats is a lot drier, a lot crumblier. Now, I'm just going to take that end off there and neaten it up a little bit, because I want that to join that piece of pastry. Okay, there we go. So we're just going to tuck that in there and leave it over the sides, same as the other one. So you can see we've got two types of pastry there. We're going to stick the oven on, and we'll stick it on for about 180. Right, now back in the day they would not have used egg or anything on this. It would just be a bog standard pastry, but they will have to cut vent holes in to let the veg vent off inside. So that's what we're going to do. You know, after making pastry all these years, this pastry with a mashed potato has got a fantastic texture. That I like very much. It's quite nice. That texture is fantastic. Okay, that's warm enough. Let's get that in there. We're going to go for about 20 minutes and then we might see what it looks like. I've got the feeling the one with the oats in on the other side is going to be dry and crumbly, and I think the mashed potato pastry is going to be like a pastry. There we have it, end hot. We need to get that out of there. Look at that. That is unbelievable. That is wartime pastry. Oats, mashed potato. Presentation, mashed potato looks superb. Oats, quite firm. Softer than this one's a lot softer than the oats. Just give it 5 minutes and we'll serve some up and we'll give it a taste test. Okay, you all know me. I can't wait that long. We need to get in there and serve some up. Okay, we got it on 2 big plates here. That is the mashed potato one. That is the oats one. They look stunning, absolutely stunning. I just need to give it a taste test. Here we go then. Now this is the moment of truth. Okay, 2 different types of pastry. The inside filling is exactly the same. You know it is, it's vegetables. Okay, because in those days they made the most of the produce on the land. So what does the pastry taste like on its own? Quite dry, but very nice actually, very pleasant taste. So what does it taste like with the vegetables? I have to be careful here. These vegetables are very, very hot. That with the vegetables is absolutely superb. That is a good pastry. Now for the other one. Now, to be fair, this one looks more presentable to me. I like the colour on it. This one looks like it could be used for a sweet pastry, a tart, and put some jam or apples or anything in there. Let's give this one a go. So we need to try the pastry first. Oh, blows you away. Blows you away. That is incredible. That actually tastes like a suet pastry, but obviously it's not a suet pastry. That is on another level. Oh man. Thank goodness for the resilience of people and the understanding of ingredients. Both these pies are fantastic. I hope you like what we've done. If you've had any chance of trying a traditional pastry like this, or you make a traditional pastry, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me how you might change it. It is incredible. Well, that is Wooton pie made. That is one of the good things to come out of the war. I hope you enjoy what we're doing. If you do, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe, share with your friends, all that kind of stuff. And we'll catch you in the next video.